Thank you, and welcome to another edition of the Sustainable Scoop. I'm Miriam Gennari, and I'm here with John Richardson. He is the second-term president of the Arlington Historical Society. Thanks for joining us, John.
Thank you very much.
John, you know, taking this role, I won't go into the very varied background that you have. You have lots of experience in business as well as in volunteering, but this particular project, you had to come in and draw leadership and build some of the old programs. That was your first initiative. So how did it go last year? What have you been up to?
Well, I think it's gone actually very well. I mean, we have made a major effort to be everywhere all the time, but focusing on priority targets, minorities, neighborhoods, and schools. And we're building solid ties with those three constituencies, among many other things.
Well, when people think about Arlington, I mean, we're an urban community, we're very focused on sustainability. Why is it so important that we recognize and have citizens and visitors consider Arlington's historical significance?
Well, Arlington was an original part of the 10-mile square, the nation's capital, 1847. Congress gave it back to Virginia. Why, I don't know. But and so much of our nation's history has taken place in and around Arlington. And I think because so much of our physical history is more recent, people tend not to think that very much happened here, and that's a mistake.
Well, certainly, when you think about some of the wonderful places we have here in Arlington, you brought some photos with you, Friedmans Village and its significance and its contribution to the development in Washington, D.C. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I mean, Friedmans Village was constructed, I think it was 90-some houses, small houses for former slaves that were constructed on Arlington House property. Of course, Robert E. Lee didn't get, after 1861, he walked away, never came back to Arlington House. But Arlington Village, Friedmans Village rather, was a tremendously important way for newly freed Black Americans to have a home and to become part of the immediate environment.
Indeed, a rich and vibrant African-American community thrived there in Arlington. Also, there are some other houses and former schools, the Hume School, which is your primary location where you operate the Historical Society. We have another photo, I believe, of Arlington House. Tell us about that.
Well, Arlington House, of course, is the Lee Mansion.
Okay.
And so that's, and we don't own that. We own the Hume School, but and we maintain it. And then we also own the Ball Sellers House, which is the oldest extant building in Arlington County. That's down just off Carlin Springs Road near Kenmore Middle School.
You know, one of the things that you did during this term was you helped develop a wonderful brochure, and in this brochure, it shares a lot of those wonderful locations and the times that they happened. So you give a beautiful timeline, and it helps us recognize that the richness of our history here. Now, if I had to ask you about your goals for the upcoming year as president of the Historical Society, what would you say that was?
I would say the most important goal is to expand our conversation with the Arlington business community. Last year we were building program, trying to demonstrate that we are relevant and interesting, contributing something to the community. And this year we are going to try to help the business community understand why involvement in local history is good for business.
Absolutely. I mean, why wouldn't you want to know how close your office or your business is and in proximity to like Arlington Cemetery or the Pentagon, right? This is all very important.
Yeah, it's,
right?
It's the fourth smallest county, I think, in the state, if not in the country, 26 square miles, not very big.
Now, not very big, but a huge population. Why is it important for citizens to not only volunteer at the Historical Society, but become members?
Well, two reasons. Above all, people who become members will, if they get involved and participate, they will enrich their own understanding of their community. In fact, our slogan is sort of helping Arlingtonians understand their community through its history. That's our mantra. and people by becoming involved as docents in our museums, taking part in our activities, purchasing publications when they're available at Clarendon Day or Knock Civic Pride Day, things like that. These are just great ways for Arlingtonians to educate themselves about our history. And also, of course, and I won't dodge that point, that membership is the backbone so far of our fundraising efforts. And so more members, more income.
And certainly there are a lot of civic groups that have supported you in the past, but you welcome more civic groups to become involved, right?
Absolutely. Right.
Absolutely. You know, the thing that you're offering, not just in individual neighborhoods, but in neighborhoods where there are schools and families, is you're doing a lot of outreach right now.
Absolutely. And we're building very strong ties with the Arlington Public Schools, and Dr. Pat Murphy is a fan. One of our speakers this fall will be the person who is in charge of all the history and social studies curriculum in the county, and so we're trying to be useful in the schools and with the schools. And
quite valuable, because obviously these are all things they're going to find on their SATs. I did want to touch on a conversation that I had heard, that there's some discussion about a heritage center in Courthouse, and we can't go into great detail, but just tell me a little bit.
All right, very briefly. This is an idea, actually it was suggested to Charlene Bickford, who's been very civically active for decades, really. We had lunch with Jay Fassett last January, just after he became became the chair of the county board. And we were talking about how to get a cultural center that perhaps would include part or all of our own museum and the Hume School, perhaps the Black Heritage Museum, other exhibits, kiosks for visitors, because they're sure as shooting there's going to be a new county office building in Courthouse Square.
And so possibly having some space there for the Historical Society.
Absolutely.
So you have so much to look forward to. I think the question is, why wouldn't people become more involved? And now if they wanted to reach out and get in touch with you, how would they do that?
www.arlingtonhistoricalsociety.org. We also have a very active Facebook page. Members receive newsletters, the annual magazine of the Society. There are a number of benefits, as well as being able to go to our museums free of charge.
That's wonderful. And also, again, let me mention this wonderful brochure, which you would want to have for anyone coming to visit you in Arlington, because you don't know everything that's in this brochure. Neither did I. But I encourage you, and I thank you so much for coming to see us, John. And I encourage you out to the Historical Society. And I'm Miriam Gennari. That's the Sustainable Scoop. Back to the news desk.